I like that when it's just like hanging out.
Hey everyone, and welcome to a look at how we made the new toilet puppet for Papameat. Usually when Hunter comes to us, he already has a sketch in mind, a design for one of his puppets or characters. And with this one, he just told us he wanted a puppet that was a toilet that could talk and eat and look around and sniff. He kind of described the look of the puppet to us and just let us go full design and do whatever we wanted for it. What was interesting about this puppet is it had to be, I wanted it to be functioning in a way to where you could actually sit on it. So they only wanted 2 people inside of the puppet to puppeteer it, so we had to figure out how to build it in a way to where its eyes would move, its nose would sniff, it could talk, its tongue would come out and grab things, and also like support someone sitting on it if they wanted. We start with 3D modeling and back and forth with Hunter on the design of the toilet as we're trying to figure out like how's it gonna hinge and how we're gonna like have enough room to get arms inside of there. So with this, I tried to quickly blast out digital sculpting and move straight away to 3D printing it to really get a feel for how big the puppet is sitting there and how much room we're really gonna get. So once we have the 3D sculpture of the toilet, like all of our puppets and things we do, we like printing it and then taking a nice thin layer of Chavant clay and putting it on top and then detailing the sculpture out and kind of modifying it. This one, because we did such a kind of quick phase in the digital realm, it was a lot more sculpting and kind of design in the clay on the final toilet. We're really kind of tweaking the design and figuring out, what the base is going to look like. The base changed a lot. Originally, it was just kind of like a toilet base. And then it started turning into like the base should be its like belly and its boobs and kind of these rolls and like intestines underneath the skin is like where the drain is and stuff. Yeah, okay. I really want the front to feel like a belly spilling out. Right here. So then if that's a boob, you can kind of roll it up here. Yeah. And maybe create this as a separate, like add like a nice fat roll of clay here that merges to there. So the boob kind of curves up and fades here.
And tucks in a little.
And then this is a whole like back handle thing. Let's like add some more veinies coming up here.
Flag.
Like what I had on the temple over there,
Yeah, but here?
Yeah, I think that'll make this back end more interesting. So far, all the puppets for Papameat have been soft materials. They've been silicone faces and rubber. But for this one, to sit on it, it already has to be a hard surface. For this, we had to create matrix molds, which is a soft material with a hard shell holding it all in place, to then cast a hard material out of it, right? These molds that you're seeing, there's a silicone jacket on top of the sculpture. We use a fiberglass hard epoxy to create a shell, or we'll use plaster bandages or plaster to create a jacket that holds the rubber in place to keep our shape of the sculpt. We do these giant matrix molds on all the components, on the bowl and on the top and on the lid. So when creating a mold, one of the main problems is figuring out how to get your sculpture to not get locked in. We ran into the problem is we wanted to do a cheap, quick mold as a big one piece, but because of that, it got locked in, so we had to break the sculpture out. But that's one of the main things of mold making, is trying to figure out how to release it without locking your sculpture in.
We should probably do that. This looks like it's going to lock.
Yeah, just right down the middle, you think?
Yeah. Let me do this.
Okay.
So it did get locked. I told you guys it would get locked. It got locked. So now we got to chisel it all out. I want it to go back together.
Okay.
So before you cut it, we need to mount things, wood brackets of some kind, so we know it will put back together and hold the jacket in. Okay. For future castings. Well, weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
Connections.
Oh,
It's a little bit more without cracking it all off. There it is.
Quinton's just gonna watch.
Yeah.
Alright, whoa. This. Ah. It's okay. Look at that. So that didn't get locked.
You brush it. You're brushing on all your layers. You're thickening it up.
Yep.
And then you just gently T-pin it to the silicone. Silicone should be like
That thick.
about a quarter thick, and then you'll just gently T-pin it
Sounds
with a thin layer brushed on, and then you
Yeah.
pin it in place. That'll hold.
Nice.
Once we have our molds made, we cast our final materials, which I like to use an epoxy resin with layers of fiberglass, just a few, so it's lightweight but super durable, enough to like hold someone. It's the same materials you make like boats or cars out of. It's all just fiberglass, right? One of the big issues that we thought was gonna be a big problem was the weight of the lid. We thought that hoisting that lid up to make this puppet talk would be too much and like too much of a workout for your arm. But in the end, we actually ended up using the heavy lid because it just balanced out really well. So it ended up just almost being like a little teeter-totter to make his mouth talk.
Oh boy, that's a heavy one. How many layers is that? 3. Ay caramba.
This is on the thick side.
It definitely
It's
is.
heavy.
Yeah, it's really
heavy. It's heavy, boy. That's very heavy.
Yeah, it is.
Was that 2 coats of resin?
This
Maybe it's
was-
just 2 coats of resin and 1 layer of glass.
Okay.
Like 1 fabric layer, and that's it.
Yeah. Look at that. That was pretty cool. It was.
What about 2 coats of epoxy cast? Like a thick coat. Yeah. Smoosh it, peanut butter, rigid foam. Just blow off the glass. Then there's also soft components to this puppet. There's his nose, which is silicone. There's his little chicken wing arms, which are silicone.
Whoa, I can hear it from here. That's so loud. It's down.
What I've been liking a lot is we just 3D print the molds themselves out of filament, and then we cast the silicone. You get a little bit of print lines and stuff, but if it's anything crazy noticeable, you can just patch over it with silicone. There's the lips, which I really wanted to be silicone, and those would kind of act like a soft toilet seat cushion in a way. So when you sit on it, you're actually sitting on the soft lips and not like a hard surface. So once we have our fiberglass components cast, we pop them out of the molds, and then we start trimming things like the inner bowl of the toilet. I already knew it'd be impossible to try to like sculpt it all and then try to like mold the whole inner part of the toilet, so that we just fabricated using tin foil and an epoxy putty, essentially, is a material called freeform. So we just build up the inner bowl, which creates the kind of thickness, so we don't have to worry about a really complex mold. Once we have our hard components too, we can start figuring out how it's going to hinge for the lid. I mean, what I'm doing is I'm favoring the right side. I'm tipping it.
Yeah.
We could. It's just we could angle the pole to one side so they have room. It's already angled.
That is what would do it.
Well, yeah. I mean, they use their phones.
Yeah, have someone right here.
Yeah,
It's like comfortable, but
Because you could honestly do that, then reach up and do the eyes.
yeah.
2.
It's not bad.
Yeah, as long as.
Try palm up. That's better.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And like cutting out our eyes and how our eyes are gonna mount inside of this toilet. Our beautiful eyes to the toilet were made by Fourth Seal Studios again. They're our main eye guys. They do incredible work. And we really wanted these bright, vivid green eyes, and one of them has pink eyes, so one's all like bloodshot and red and gross. But they 3D printed in color these wonderful eyes and then buff it and shine them all up. And then using that, we can create little gaskets that are 3D printed and build our little rods to puppeteer the eyes to look around.
I'm looking at the middle. There's the middle.
Now in painting this, I'm just using acrylics and like Krylon spray paint, Because it is just a hard surface, you're basically just painting a statue. Really what matters is what you clear coat the piece in to prevent scratching and all that. We painted the main body first, and that was the really tricky part, is how do you meld all these soft materials and hard materials and make it look like one giant organic creature. So a lot of the illusion is just how you paint things. We paint the hard materials to look soft, like skin, and we're painting the soft materials to really blend in, like the nose blending in with the hard shell of the eyes, and the chicken wings blending into the hard tank of a body. So it all blends in really well, and it looks like one creature. In the end, I'm really happy with this puppet. I love the gross silicone slime coming out of his mouth, and sludge kind of just pooling up on his chin and dripping on his boobs. And then with that giant silicone glove tongue, you know, moving around. I think it's a really interesting and weird character for the Papameat channel.
Does it look alright?
Can you hand me something? Something kind of narrow.
I hope you enjoyed this look at creating the toilet for Papameat. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. We'll get back to you on materials or techniques. Please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.